Have you ever heard of hitchhiking? And if yes, can you imagine a hitchhiking trip across 10 different countries? Well, let me show you how I did it in 17 days. Yeah, that's me. Together with my dad stuck somewhere in northern Sweden with only a backpack. But first, let me take you back to the time where it all started. On June 30th, the first day of our summer holidays, my dad and I left the house. We started in Prague, where we live, reached the Polish border, and at the end of the first day, we slept in our sleeping bags somewhere 100 kilometers before Warsaw. The next morning, we were a little tired, but going through the north of Poland went quite well. In the afternoon, we crossed the border into Lithuania, my first new country. From the city of Kaunas, the second largest city, we got a direct ride to their beautiful capital city, our first stop. After we walked around the city and had a dinner at their popular local fast food called Hesburger, we tried to get as far north as possible tonight. But we didn't sleep very much that night because in the evening we ended up in the middle of nowhere and were looking for a place to sleep under the roof or next to a gas station. The next day was not so easy for us. First, we had some problems getting out of where we were last night, and when we crossed the border into Latvia with the goal to reach the capital city that day, the weather started to get really bad. Fortunately, someone picked us up in the middle of the storm, and even after some more complications, we finally made it to Riga. We found some not expensive hotel, took a shower there after a long time, and went out to buy some snacks. Today we spent the whole day in Riga. We had a classical hotel breakfast and then went to see the town. We also found a half-an-hour long train ride to the small coastal town of Jurmala, so we went to the beach as well and had a lot of fun there. Then we got back to the city, and because it was actually my 14th birthday today, we went to an Indian restaurant in the town center to celebrate. The next day we woke up at the same hotel and had the same breakfast, but today it was time to say goodbye to Riga and leave the city. Near the Latvian-Estonian border, we were really lucky to catch a direct ride across the entire country to its capital, Tallinn. In the shipping port, or harbor, we bought tickets for the evening ferry to Helsinki. After that, we walked around their small but very beautiful old town. I took some cool photos, we had dinner and had a great time there. Suddenly we remembered that our ship was leaving in 30 minutes, so we went to the port, but there we realized that the ship had already left, even though it was supposed to leave in 20 minutes. Next ship was leaving the next morning, so we slept outside right next to the port. In fact, it was very clean and safe there, and it was literally bright all night long. #polar nights. After some hours of sleep, we got up early, packed everything and caught the ferry. We were really grateful that we've already got so far, so we tried to enjoy the ride as much as possible. Helsinki, Finland's modern metropolis and capital city. Very modern, nothing really historical to see here, except maybe this famous cathedral. I think a day spent there was enough for us. We also got ourselves a great all-you-can-eat lunch to make sure we wouldn't be hungry tonight and tomorrow, as it was time to go north. Finland was quite nice, but the only things I truly remember from there are tons of mosquitoes, very clear polar nights, crossing the Arctic Circle, our huge milestone, but Finland also gave me the most hospitable and friendliest people I have ever seen. When going by road coping the Torne River, which defines the border between Sweden and Finland, we took some amazing photos of local reindeers in nature. On the day 8, we finally slept in another hotel at the most northern corner of Lapland, Finland's most northern province. In the morning, a friendly couple from Poland, also traveling in the same direction, took us to our next country, Norway. We immediately fell in love with the very well-known Norwegian nature. Yeah, everywhere you looked you saw mountains and lots of islands. It was beautiful. The Polish guys wanted to go to Lofoten Islands and stay there for a couple of days, but we didn't have that much time, so we said goodbye to them and continued our own way. At least we had an opportunity to visit the Norwegian town Narvik, where I tasted a whale burger and bought a souvenir that says "Crossing the Arctic Circle." After hopping south by very short distances and even being forced to take a ship to continue the road, we hitchhiked another group of Polish people that took us all the way to Bordeaux, where we together visited the Norwegian Historical Air Force Museum. When they finally dropped us off, we met a very friendly guy from Finland driving an empty van all the way to the other side of the Scandinavian peninsula. We really enjoyed this ride and we even had a little picnic in his van, so that was nice. When we finally got there and got some short rides from other people, we searched as always for a place to sleep and decided to stay in this playground castle. It actually rained a bit that night, but that was no problem for us because it had a roof. The day 11 was for us perhaps the most successful one, especially because of one Syrian guy who took us incredible 400 kilometers south. He even stopped to show us his favorite place and bought both of us a drink. When it was time to drop us off, he finally showed us something like a free camping with free water, a grocery store nearby and a roof. A perfect place to sleep outside with no tent. The next day, after 200 kilometers, we finally made it to Stockholm. We had lunch there in the form of a burger that looked like this and again booked an apartment for one night near the city center. But before that, of course, we went to see the streets of the old town. In the morning, we struggled a bit to really get out of the city, but after we did so, we spent another 2 days traveling to the southern coast of Sweden, straight to Malmö, where we, on the same day we got there, got a ride over the bridge straight to the capital of a completely different country on our way, Copenhagen, Denmark. When we arrived in the city, we, as always, booked an apartment, but right after went to sleep. The other day we spent exploring Copenhagen, and in the evening when we decided to just get out of the city and continue our way, we were so lucky to get through the entire country in just a couple of hours and found again a good place already near the German border to sleep under the roof. The other 2 days we spent traveling to Germany, and on the day 17 we got our final ride with another traveling foreign couple finally back to our country straight to the Prague city center. So now you see, that was the place we started from and came back to after 17 whole days. Overall, I would like to share with you 3 things that I truly learned from that. Number 1. Traveling is the best way to learn geography. Do you have any idea how many names of Finnish towns and villages I remember today? 2. It's all about luck. As a hitchhiker, you have to keep in mind that it's a risk and real adventure. You never know where you will end up at the end of the day. 3. You should try and not be afraid of. It is something you should try for yourself and definitely not be afraid of. It's a big challenge to do something like this, I know, but who said your trip has to look like this? Also, I would like to admit that our whole journey was completely free. Hitchhiking is a thing a lot of people find dangerous and sometimes scary or terrifying, but I bet if they did something like I did, they would fall in love with it, just like I did.